Now Murray through center. Oh, that took some strange bounce off the boards. What a stop by Henrik Lundqvist!
You have got to be kidding me.
Throughout NHL history, there has only been one goalie who was known as the King, with lightning-quick reflexes that seemed almost superhuman, an elegance that made saving 100 MP8 shots look effortless, and a presence that turned Madison Square Garden into his personal castle. Henrik Lundqvist changed what it meant to be an NHL goalkeeper. When players approached the Rangers' net, they weren't just facing a goalie. They were facing a man who had stopped 23,509 shots in his career. That's like stopping a puck every single minute for 16 straight days. He wasn't just talented, he was intimidating in the most stylish way possible. But there was much more to Lundqvist than just his iconic masks and perfect hair. This was a guy who was drafted 205th overall, meaning 204 players were picked before him, yet went on to become the fastest goalie to reach 400 wins in NHL history. He turned the New York Rangers, a team that struggled for years, into a constant playoff threat. When players saw him standing in that crease, with his signature low crouch and intense stare, they knew scoring wouldn't come easy. Today, we're going to look at how a kid from a tiny Swedish ski town became NHL royalty. If you're already amazed by Lundqvist's impact on hockey, take a second to hit that like button. Trust me, his story only gets more incredible from here. What made Lundqvist truly special wasn't just his athletic ability, it was his absolute dominance of one of sport's toughest markets. While most goalies crumbled under the intense pressure of New York City, Lundqvist thrived on it. He didn't just set records, he shattered them. We're talking about a goalie who won 459 games, all but 2 of them with the Rangers. That's more than any other European-born goalie in NHL history. His 64 shutouts weren't just good, they were more than double the previous Rangers record. But here's what's really mind-blowing. Between 2006 and 2016, Lundqvist saved 422 goals above expected. The next closest goalie in that span? Roberto Luongo with 273. That means Lundqvist was nearly 150 goals better than his closest competitor over a decade. And at the 2006 Olympics, he didn't just help Sweden win gold. He posted a 90.7 save percentage against the world's best players while being the tournament's youngest starting goalie. So, today we're going to dive into how a 7th-round draft pick number 205, transformed himself into hockey royalty and earned every letter of his nickname, the King. In the small ski town of Åre, Sweden, young Henrik Lundqvist's path to becoming the King started in a rather unusual way. Unlike most future NHL stars who dreamed of hockey from day one, Henrik and his twin brother Joel actually spent their early years skiing down the slopes of their hometown. But everything changed when their father, who worked at the local ski resort, got them into hockey at age 8, much later than most future pros who typically start at age 3 or 4. What's crazy is that Henrik didn't even start as a goalie. He was actually a forward, but there was just one problem. The Twins' youth team didn't have a goalie. When the coach asked who wanted to try it out, Henrik raised his hand, mostly because he was fascinated by the cool equipment. That random decision would change hockey history forever. Growing up, Henrik and Joel would stay up until 3 a.m. to watch NHL games on their small TV, which was pretty much unheard of for Swedish kids in the 1990s. They'd watch in amazement as goalies like Patrick Roy and Dominik Hasek made incredible saves. Henrik would try to copy their moves the next day on the outdoor rink their dad built in their backyard. The Twins would practice for hours, with Joel firing hundreds of shots while Henrik perfected his technique. At age 16, both brothers joined Frölunda HC's youth team, one of Sweden's top hockey programs. This is where Henrik's unique style started to develop. While other goalies were still using the traditional stand-up style, Henrik was perfecting what would become his signature move, a deep crouch that made him look smaller to shooters, but allowed him to explode across the crease with incredible speed. His goalie coach at Frölunda actually tried to change his style, saying it wasn't technically correct. Thank goodness Henrik didn't listen. Then came the 2000 NHL draft. Joel was picked in the 3rd round by the Dallas Stars, but Henrik, he had to wait, and wait, and wait. Finally, in the 7th round, with pick 205, the New York Rangers took a chance on him. Most 7th-round picks never make it to the NHL, but Henrik used this as motivation. He stayed in Sweden for 5 more years, absolutely dominating the Swedish Elite League. In his final season there, he posted a ridiculous 93.6 save percentage and led Frölunda to the championship. But what really got everyone's attention was when he set a Swedish hockey record by going 172 minutes and 29 seconds without allowing a single goal. That's like playing almost 3 complete games without letting anything past you. When Lundqvist finally arrived in New York in 2005, nobody really knew what to expect from this 7th-round draft pick. But it took exactly 1 game for Rangers fans to realize they had something special. In his NHL debut, he stopped 24 of 27 shots against the New Jersey Devils. By his 5th game, he recorded his first shutout. People weren't just noticing his saves, they were noticing how he made them, with a style and grace that made even the toughest stops look easy. His rookie season was like something out of a movie. He won 30 games, posted a 92.2 save percentage, and finished 3rd in voting for the Vezina Trophy, the award for the NHL's best goalie. But here's what's truly incredible. He was just getting started. Lundqvist became the first goalie in NHL history to win 30 or more games in each of his first 7 seasons. Think about that. Not even legends like Martin Brodeur or Patrick Roy did that. In New York, Madison Square Garden quickly became known as the house that Hank built. The fans would chant, "Henrik, Henrik," after every big save, and there were plenty of them. During one stretch in the 2008 to 2009 season, he made 300 consecutive starts. That's like playing every game for almost 4 straight seasons. No other Rangers goalie has even come close to that record. But it wasn't just about the numbers. Lundqvist brought something different to the position. While most goalies looked like they were frantically scrambling to make saves, he made it look like an art form. His signature move was dropping into an extremely low crouch, almost sitting on the ice, which shooters hated because it gave them nothing to aim at. Former NHL star Jeremy Roenick once said, "You think you see space, but with Henrik, it's usually a trap. By the time you realize it, the puck's already in his glove." The media started calling him King Henrik, and the nickname stuck for good reason. Between 2009 and 2013, his stats were just ridiculous. He faced 10,758 shots during this period, more than any other goalie in the league, and still maintained 92.0 save percentage. That's like facing 30 bullets every night and somehow dodging 27 of them, night after night, year after year. What made him even more special was how he performed under pressure. In games where the Rangers were facing elimination from the playoffs, Lundqvist had 90.4 save percentage, the highest of any goalie in NHL history, with at least 10 such games. In Game 6 of the 2014 Eastern Conference Finals against Montreal, he made 18 saves in the second period alone, the kind of performance that had his teammates shaking their heads in disbelief. Off the ice, he became just as iconic. He was named to People magazine's 100 Most Beautiful People list, appeared on late-night talk shows, and played guitar in a Swedish rock band. But none of this fame ever affected his game. Former teammate Martin St. Louis once said, Henrik would spend hours studying video of opposing shooters, even after perfect games. He prepared like someone still trying to make the team, even when he was already the best in the world. By 2014, Lundqvist had become so dominant that opposing teams would literally change their shooting strategies when facing him. Players admitted they would pass up good shooting opportunities because they knew their usual moves wouldn't work against him. Former NHL star Paul Bissonnette put it best. Playing against Lundqvist was like trying to score on a brick wall that also happened to be wearing perfectly tailored suits. The 2011-12 season was when Lundqvist finally got the recognition he deserved, winning the Vezina Trophy as the NHL's best goalie. But the numbers behind that win were just insane. He faced 1,753 shots that season, more than any other top goalie, and still managed to save 93% of them. For perspective, that's like facing about 50 slap shots every single day for an entire year and only missing a handful. But his most legendary performances came during the 2014 Stanley Cup run. In Game 6 of the Eastern Conference Finals against Montreal, with a chance to advance to the Cup Finals, Lundqvist didn't just play well. He put on a show that people still talk about. The Canadiens fired 18 shots in the second period alone, many of them clear scoring chances. Lundqvist stopped every single one. After one save, where he somehow got his toe on a puck while diving in the opposite direction, even Montreal fans stood and applauded. The Rangers made it to the Stanley Cup Finals that year against the Los Angeles Kings. Though they ultimately lost in 5 games, Lundqvist's performance was otherworldly. In Game 4, facing elimination, he made 40 saves in a 2-1 win. The save that everyone remembers came with just minutes left. A puck somehow got behind him, was sliding toward the goal line, and Lundqvist, without even looking, did a snow angel move that stopped the puck literally on the goal line. The difference between winning and losing came down to about half an inch. But maybe his greatest achievements came while representing Sweden. At the 2006 Olympics in Turin, Lundqvist wasn't just good, he was unbeatable. In the gold medal game against Finland, he faced 25 shots and let in just one goal, leading Sweden to their first Olympic gold in 12 years. What made this even more impressive? He was the youngest starting goalie in the tournament at just 23 years old. 4 years later at the Vancouver Olympics, he posted 3 shutouts in 4 games, a feat that had never been done before in Olympic hockey. During one stretch, he went 172 minutes without allowing a goal. That's like playing almost 3 complete games, where literally nothing got past you. Back in the NHL, the records just kept falling. He became the first goalie to win 20 or more games in each of his first 12 seasons. He reached 400 wins faster than any goalie in NHL history, except Martin Brodeur, and Brodeur had better teams in front of him. By 2016, Lundqvist had become the first Rangers goalie to reach 60 shutouts. For context, the previous Rangers record was 49, set by Ed Giacomin over an 11-year career. Lundqvist blew past that mark in just his 9th season. What really set these achievements apart was how he got them. While some goalies racked up wins with high-scoring teams in front of them, Lundqvist often had to be perfect just to give his team a chance. In the 2013-14 season, he won 24 games where the Rangers scored 2 goals or fewer. That means in about half his wins that year, he basically couldn't afford to make more than 1 mistake per game. Former NHL star Jeremy Roenick said it best. Most goalies give their team a chance to win. Lundqvist gave the Rangers no choice but to win. He simply wouldn't let them lose. In December 2020, hockey fans around the world were stunned when Lundqvist announced he had to undergo open-heart surgery. Just months after signing with the Washington Capitals for what was supposed to be his final season, doctors discovered he had a serious heart condition that he'd actually been playing with for years. The fact that he'd been putting up elite numbers while dealing with this made his achievements even more incredible. The surgery was successful, and though Lundqvist tried to make a comeback, he eventually announced his retirement in August 2021. But what happened next showed just how special he was to New York. On January 28, 2022, the Rangers retired his number 30 jersey in one of the most emotional ceremonies Madison Square Garden had ever seen. During his speech, Lundqvist revealed something that gave everyone chills. In his 15 years with the Rangers, he had never once pressed the elevator button to the locker room. He always took the stairs, saying each step reminded him how lucky he was to play the game he loved. Today, Lundqvist works as a hockey analyst for MSG Networks, breaking down the game with the same passion and detail he brought to the ice. His impact on the Rangers organization went way beyond just stopping pucks. When he joined the team in 2005, the Rangers hadn't made the playoffs in 8 years. With him in goal, they made it 11 times in 12 seasons. He transformed a struggling franchise into a constant contender, and more importantly, he showed that a 7th-round draft pick from a small Swedish town could become hockey royalty through sheer determination and hard work. Looking at Lundqvist's final numbers is like reading a hockey fairy tale. 459 wins, 64 shutouts, and an incredible 91.8 career save percentage while facing over 23,500 shots. He holds nearly every Rangers goaltending record, from most saves in a season to most playoff wins. But what's even more impressive is that he did this playing in one of the toughest cities for athletes, where one bad game could get you torn apart by the media. His impact went far beyond the numbers, though. Lundqvist completely changed how European goalies were viewed in the NHL. Before him, teams were hesitant to draft European goalies early. After watching him dominate for 15 years, teams started actively scouting European leagues for the next Lundqvist. Today, some of the NHL's best goalies, like Igor Shesterkin and Ilya Sorokin, point to Lundqvist as their inspiration. In the end, while he never won a Stanley Cup, Lundqvist did something even rarer. He became a legend in a city that's nearly impossible to please. He wasn't just a great goalie, he was the king of New York. If Lundqvist's journey from a 7th-round pick to NHL royalty inspired you, make sure to join our hockey community by hitting subscribe, and let me know in the comments, what's your favorite King Henrik moment? Thanks for watching, catch you in the next one.